Well, welcome everybody to a Sunday night recording of Forever Bristol City podcast. Going defeated going into today's game. Family day, big crowd, big gaps in the away end. Why they didn't open some of that to home supporters, that's another story. But so Bristol City. Final score: City 1, Oxford United 3. Disappointing, but you get so used to being disappointed when you watch City, even though we've had this bright start. But that's so City, elevating your expectation, only to dash it with a show that was not there. Nobody really on their A game at all. Tonight, I'm joined alongside me is Neil Sutton, and delighted to have back, first time in a while, is Tom Hicks and regular Mark Tovey. I'll start with you, Tom. As you trudged away from Ashton Gate, I'm assuming you stayed until the bitter end, not like Neil. That's another story. As you trudged away, what were your thoughts?
I mean, it was a bad game. By Mehmeti's goal, you couldn't really take any positives. I mean, I think we said before, I thought Randall did okay, and Vitek obviously made some good saves, but overall, I can't remember many worse home games than that in recent years. There's been a couple that are similar, but that is as bad as it gets at home. But it's been a positive start to the season, but today is really just a bitter pill to swallow, really, more than anything.
Yeah. Mark, your thoughts on the final whistle?
I don't think it was as bad as all that. I think it just came to the fact that we didn't score when we were on top. Reece had a poor game in front of goal. Don't think he hit a barn door with a banjo. Mehmeti was unlucky with a corner that was hit off the line. But what was shocking was our zonal marking for long throws, corners, and free kicks. And if you want to see good delivery from free kicks, look at Brian de Keersmaker. His delivery were absolutely perfect. And Nick Credit, for one of the goals. These are two of the players that they drafted in from Heracles in the Dutch Eredivisie and Cagliari in Italy. They just looked stronger than us in the tackle. They took their chances better. They defended better. But City aren't that bad. We're in third place. We're ahead of the likes of Leicester and Southampton. It's been one of the best starts for years. We're punching above our weight. The risk and reward football we're getting under Struber has put us where we are, but mistakes will be made. We need to sort out the zonal marking. And the big worry that came out of this game, apart from the defending, is that Atkinson is having a scan, and let's hope that it's not too bad. Otherwise, it looks like we'll have to draft Borges is a left centre back, and we won't have much depth because, of course, we got Jamie Knight the bell out in Swindon.
Yeah, who scored yesterday. Neil, your thoughts? I'd have come out with 8 minutes to go, to be perfectly honest, but your wife was sat a few seats in front.
It was only 2-1 then.
Hey?
No. It was only 2-1 then.
He went when the third goal.
As soon as the third goal went in, I think half the Dolman walked out. I think perhaps. What
did you think though? Your thoughts on the game? No.
I thought the atmosphere before the game was quite flat. I think our start to the game was very flat. We've set high expectations of ourselves with regards to the way in which we play, that we're incisive, that we are, that clinical. And there was just a lackadaisical element to our play today. But that said, in the first half, they were playing a high line and we broke through about 3 or 4 times.
We did.
And there were chances there, and they just didn't quite go there, or they got a block in, or it wasn't quite right. I mean, the officials today didn't help. I'm not going to blame them for the result because I think Oxford, were worthy winners. But we had John Brooks today, a Premier League referee, and the linesman were both obviously part of that Premier League thing. And with Premier League officials, they've got this thing where they don't put the flag up straight away. They don't make a decision straight away.
Because they went for VAR.
And with it, I think we started to lose our composure out there today. I mean, there were players getting bookings for Descent, Viner, Knight, Vitek, all booked for Descent. You could tell that we were losing our rag, losing our composure. I think, I don't think Struber got his subs right. and we'll come on to that.
Yeah.
But I think with it was more a question of like the high standards that we've set. In some ways, we were always destined to lose a game at some stage.
Yeah.
And Oxford, you know, there were some good goals by them today, but
Well,
I think there was some just we
weren't at the races. We weren't on our A game.
Going forward, first half, there was some nice passages of play.
Yes.
And we played well. So I'm not going to say that we were awful, because we've been there over the years.
Yeah.
You know, where we have been awful, not created anything, not even looked like scoring. That wasn't the game today. What the game today was, every shot was going off target. We were making wrong decisions in critical phases, end phases, the type of things that we haven't been doing this season. And I think that's what upset quite a lot of people, reflecting not just on the game itself, but on the way we've played in the previous games, really. And the drop off.
But the expectation was raised, wasn't it? And you've got to bear in mind you're coming up against a very experienced championship manager in Gary Rowett, who knows the dark arts.
The game last year, very different Oxford team, but the game last year, they should have beaten us. They should have been 2-0 up at half time, and then we went on to win the game 2-1. Yeah. You know, so they are the away game last year. You know, we were down to 9 men.
We were.
So, you know, I think they were a challenging side. There was, but we weren't on it, and then we lost our rag, and then our composure went,
and that's it.
And then that's it.
Dodgy substitutes, so a bit of a cluster, whatnot, all the way around. Quick word for somebody who said, "Can we have turtle tubs every week?" Dave Tuvey did an excellent job standing in for me last week, and he will be standing in again very, very soon. He's not available today because he's been watching Bundesliga football. He's now living in Germany, so he'll be giving us some insight into what football is like at that level. Tom, the starting lineup, well, two big shocks, really. No Max Bird, and then Leo Takeover given a place in the first team squad. I don't know if that's the first time or not, but what were your thoughts when you saw the lineup? It's pretty predictable, isn't it, these days?
Yeah, I think it was predictable. I mean, the admin made a mistake at the start tweeting Mayulu was playing. I don't know if anyone saw that at first on Twitter. Yeah, that was a bad one. But yeah, Takeover on the bench. I think he was on the bench at Hull last year, first game. But I think he's meant to be a good youngster, so that's a positive. And Bird is a bit of a miss. I don't know what's up with him. I think that would have been a good game for him to come on, really.
Calf, apparently. He said he had a calf in training yesterday or whenever they trained. Yeah, I heard that.
I mean, all in all, it's what we expected. But Oxford, I don't think they were second from bottom in the league coming into it, but they aren't a relegation side. That's I thought they'd be a bit worse, a poor side, really. Looking at their squad, I didn't think they had much, but they came out of the blocks and they were good there. I mean, we were speaking before. They had a few lads I hadn't even heard of, really. Number 50, and the lad who assisted twice as well. I mean, they were on it today in midfield, really. And Knight and Randall I thought did okay, but Knight couldn't get near them, really. Brannigan and that number 14, we were second best all over the pitch. But Neil alluded to it that they were open at the back. Reece got a few times. They were playing a high line, but we didn't take our chances, and we looked poor at the back. I mean, there was a couple of times we looked so open, it was unbelievable. So that's what we need to... I mean, Struble, we knew we were in store for this sort of style of football, but I think we do look a bit shaky at the back, to be honest. And now Atkinson's out, it's a bigger miss as well.
Well, that is a blow. That is a blow. And I mean, if you look at the list of players that are injured, Max Bird, maybe temporarily, Rob Atkinson, I think, going for a scan, somebody said, McNally out till the new year, never mind Christmas. Cam Pring, don't know idea when he's back. Max O'Leary, although I think he'd struggle to displace Vitek, although we'll talk about the goals in a moment. Stokes out, you could say he's a fringe, but Joe Williams. But of those players that are injured, there's certainly 4 there that would be in everybody's first pick 11. Mark, the team, the injuries are mounting up a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah, and on the plus side, and let's look at it as a plus side, we're still in third place in the division despite all those injuries. I think the big worry is there's a lack of depth in the forward line. You know, we've only really got one natural number 9. Well, we got 3 natural number 9s, but only one who's good enough to play, and that's Emil Rees-Jackson. Mayulu and Sinclair Armstrong just aren't up to it. So that's the worry there if Rees got injured. But today, there was the first time that our defence looked completely ragged from set pieces. When Rob Atkinson was drafted in to play against, Rob Dickey was drafted to play in against Derby. We looked particularly strong at set pieces. But our zonal marking today was just awful. The number of chances that Oxford created from long throws, good delivery, free kicks and corners was embarrassing, really. And they could have scored quite a few more goals. So that's something we need to sort out. But remember our position in the league, and we're still missing all these players.
Yeah.
We talk about the injury list. We're still holding our own. We've only lost 1 game. Ipswich, we're above Ipswich. We're above Leicester. We're above a lot of the teams that people are expecting to go straight back up. So we're punching above our weight, really. Yeah. The trouble is the lack of depth which those injuries raise. And of course, we've got games coming up now against Ipswich, QPR, and Preston, who have suddenly turned up.
Well, Preston are up there. I mean, look, it's still early days because when you've got 6 games on the board, you could win. We could lose at Preston and fail to beat Ipswich. We're going to be down in 12th or 13th or something like that.
But I mean, we could have. The thing is, who would have expected, David? We went 4-1 on the first day against Sheffield United. Naturally, expectations are raised to the limit. Who would have expected Sheffield United to have lost their first 6 games? Football's a crazy business, but it can change. I mean, a few years ago, I remember Sunderland losing their first 4 games, but they still won the championship. Things can change very quickly.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Mark. Can you? Have you got a mic in the background? There's a little bit of feedback, a little bit of an echo.
No, I don't know if it's the positioning of my mic, but
I don't know. There's a little bit of echo. But if you turn your speakers down, or no, you're listening through headphones anyway. Neil, Mark was sort of saying there. Look at the start that we've had, and Sheffield United. Okay, the form that they displayed against us on the opening day has been a character of their season. Although I think they did get a draw yesterday against Charlton, or did Wilder?
No,
they lost 1-0.
Charlton won 1-0.
I love it.
Right,
I've always liked.
Right in the last. That must have been very late on.
90th minute.
So six in a row because people
7 if you include the League Cup defeat.
Yeah, people are saying we haven't played anybody decent yet. And look, to be fair, you got to be beating Oxford, haven't you, at home? When you're on the form that we're in, or is it so Bristol City that somebody's on a run? They usually end it against us, don't we?
Well, I think when we at the start of the season we said we would turn around after 10 games, 12 games, or something like that, and it would be more indicative, wouldn't it, of the season? Well, we are in the top 3, but that doesn't necessarily indicate exactly a great start to the season. It's been a very good start to the season, but let's judge it after 10, 12 games.
That's it.
And then
after the next international break.
Yeah, and let's see exactly where we are. I mean, for me at the moment, we've played Charlton at home, we've played Oxford at home, and we've dropped 5 points from those games. And then, and arguably Charlton finished stronger, and we were sort of holding on a little bit there against Charlton. In the same way they finished strongly against, obviously, Sheffield United.
Then we threw it away against Derby, didn't we?
I mean, Oxford, the 2 games before today, they drew 2-2 with Leicester and then drew 2-2 with Coventry.
Decent results.
They're no mugs in relation to it. And there were nice periods of play today. But we went on it. I'm not going to... it's one of those games. Let's see where we go in the next game, and let's see the rebound and all the rest.
We'll see if that was a one-off. See if it was a one-off.
I mean, it was a big. I think what shocked a few people today was it was a big drop-off. It felt a big drop-off rather than just a small drop-off. Really,
no, it was.
It felt like a big.
That's what I mean. It's a big build-up, but then the Bristol City thing of raising and dashing. If you could put your finger on it, Tom, you'd probably be a manager. But the drop off was noticeable, as Neil put it. we just weren't there. Although in that opening period, that opening half, if it had been 3-2 to us at half time, yeah, that wouldn't have been an unfair reflection because we did have chances, didn't we?
We did have chances, yeah. I mean, I said already, they were so open at the back. And we said about that Hellick, he's a decent centre-back. But overall, I don't think they were brilliant at the back, to be honest. I think they were there for the taking. On another day, a good side would have buried them. But it's just a bad loss. All in all, everything about it is bad. I think probably all of us and everyone in the chat probably has higher expectations now with last season and how we've started the season, being unbeaten up until today. But overall, I think against what is not a brilliant Oxford side, as we've seen so far this season, that's their first win. So I think most people would have been confident going into it. But I think we looked way off it. No one really. I mean, even the players who are more sort of dominant in the spine of the team, like Reece, Jason Knight, Dickey, I don't think they were all pretty poor. So it's a bad loss, but it's not one to get down on because you think we're still in third place, as you boys said, and we still got games coming thick and fast. So really, you never know with what we could end and go above Middlesbrough in a couple of games. We could drop down to 12th, as you said. So it's still early days. I don't get too caught up on league table, but yeah, you never. It's not a brilliant day, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. The only team that have had a really decent start to the season are Borough. You know, Mark, they're right up there. I caught a little bit of the game, but it's. I think this season is not going to be like last season where 3 or 4 teams ran away with it. It's going to be a lot closer, and I think I can say that even though there's only 6 games on the table. You know, the strong teams, you'd expect them to start coming good very soon, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, if you can, I mean, last season we won 3 of our first 10 home league games, and then 10 of the last 13. So it can, like I said, it can change in the second half of the season. You just don't know how these things are going to go. But you expect the parachute clubs to be performing a lot better in terms of Southampton and Leicester. I'm just trying to think who the other parachutes, who were the other team that are relegated.
Ipswich
Would be performing better, but they lost some of their best players like Amari Hutchinson and Liam Delap. So they're integrating new players into the team like Nunez and some of the other players that they spent money on, and they've taken a while to settle. Leicester look very strong in defence, but apart from that, they haven't. With their FFP, they haven't spent a lot of money. So I think it's going to be a lot closer this season than it has been for the last few years at the moment. But like I said, it could change. I just think we're a bit too down, because like I said, we don't expect too much from City. Well, our expectations were raised at the start. I think the football has been a lot better in the main. I think it was just because there was that drop off today that we become concerned. We just weren't robust enough in defence. We've been a lot more aggressive in terms of defending. You looked at the way that we defended against Derby away, the way we defended against Sheffield United away and Sheffield Wednesday away. Far better. When crosses were tossed into the box, we had no trouble defending them. Today, we were just awful, and we lost our man majority of the time.
I think. Look, if you'd have put yourself in a time capsule on the first week of August and got out of it at 5:30 today, and you looked at the league table, you'd have said 3-2-1 from 6 games. Oh, probably the loss. As I say, if you've been in a time capsule, the loss at Sheffield United, then you think, oh no, they're bottom of the league, lost 6 in a row. 11 points from the opening 6. Probably, I'd say, almost unreservedly has exceeded everybody's expectations.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 2 points between 2nd and 9th.
Yeah.
So, Stoke.
Well, they lost at home to QPR.
They lost at home, and they've been struggling result, and they're in 2nd. Yeah. So it's about wins. A lot. Yeah, 6 games into the season.
Too early. Let's get into the action. I mean, early doors. Placheta had a chance. He couldn't lift the ball over Vitek. I think they had one cleared off the line. Vitek saved from Lancashire. Grabbed the ball at the second attempt. But Neil, I'll come to you first for the opening goal. I've seen the replays now, and that Prelec Sounds like some form of energy company, doesn't it?
Mm.
Prelec comes in from nowhere. It's just who should be picking him up? It was a stooping header.
It was a fantastic cross. First and foremost, fantastic.
All right.
Ball in. But he's come on the blind side of Dickey round the back. And I think Dickey's been caught out a little bit by the pace of the cross. That it's gone very quickly across him, actually. But I mean, for me, it was a stupid free kick that we gave away.
Yeah. Who gave it away?
Minor.
So,
And he was back on the left by then, wasn't he?
well, what we haven't done is the Atkinson thing.
Well, his injury was innocuous, a bit like when he went down to Sunderland and was out for the next 2.5 years. Let's hope it's not.
Well, no, I was at the Sunderland game. And he
Wasn't
went
until the second half, though, was it?
And he did not move.
That he got injured.
This one, he came on, and you can see from the Dolman, he was pointing at his knee, and I think he said, "I heard something in my knee" or something like that. So I'm pretty sure that scan is not going to be great.
And that was down at. That was in the attacking half, wasn't he? Because he
That
went
was in
off
the
from
attacking
down there.
half, yeah.
I mean, so the first goal, good cross.
So,
Yeah.
but I think with it, you've got Borges and you've got Roberts there that are left centre backs. Now, I can't quite get my head around the concepts that if you're playing 3 centre backs, and then you've got to make one enforced change, but then you make 2 changes in that situation, and realistically as well, Zach on the left, he's all right foot. He's all right.
No,
foot.
but you're putting who he considers one of his best players on.
Yeah, but
on the wrong side. But Borges and Roberts are there. I mean, let me ask Tom the question. Tom, we've been out. We always say when you sign loan players, they got to be better than what you got, right?
Yeah.
Now, the fact of the matter is, if we'd have really wanted to, we could have shifted maybe Roberts out the door in the transfer window, even if it was on loan. And we're doing the classic Bristol City thing. We've got 2 bloody average players on the left-hand side, and our first choice is injured, which is obviously Cam Pring. McCrory's right-footed playing on the left, and he'll play anywhere, just to get a game sort of thing. But instead of playing for the wages of Roberts and Borges, wouldn't it have been better to shift out Roberts and get an upgrade on Borges and get a defender that is better than 2 bloody average defenders? Like we've got 2 below average attackers that got 5 minutes at the end of the game. Am I being harsh there, Tom?
No, the only thing I can say, I agree with what you boys are saying, but with Borges, it's sort of throwing him in the deep end in a way. I think bringing him on today, which you can say he's got to come on at some point, but I think to bring him on there, I'm not sure. I can bring it on Tanner.
It was a 0-0, Tom.
It was 0-0, but
it was at 0-0.
We didn't
and realistically, you're talking about a guy that played 35 times for Borough last year, left centre back and a left wing back. You've brought him in on loan, and your left centre back goes down, and you don't bring him off the bench.
And
then you push Zach across there. And what happened was Zach got turned. He got turned because he's off balance because he plays on the left. And when you see enough of him playing on the left, you know he's not a left centre back. Necessity last year was him having to play left centre back, but he's not. He's half the player at left centre back that he is on the right.
The only thing
he got turned easily, and he gave away a silly foul in the same way that Dickey for the 3rd goal gave away silly fouls today.
Yeah,
and it's symptomatic of today that we just gave away stupid fouls.
Yeah,
in relation.
Can I agree?
But we didn't need to. Yeah. We didn't need to.
Sorry, Mark. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, you've already got McCrory playing on the left side as a necessity because so he can play Sykes on the right wing back. But to play Zach Viner, right-footed player, left-sided centre back when you got Hayden Roberts and Neto Borges, who are both left-sided defenders, is absolutely crazy. Why would you take that risk? I mean, I think Hayden Roberts. You bring the thing is you bring players. It's all right send pitch players in at the deep end, but you bring players in who's supposed to be better than what you've got. That's exactly what it is. So why isn't he featuring now with Hayden Roberts? Struber obviously doesn't trust him. I think the only time he's made an appearance is against Fulham in the Carabao Cup. I don't think we've seen him since. We've seen him at any other point, even as a sub. So he's obviously, I mean, he's just bench filling like Harry Cornick. But if you're going to bring somebody in, he made 35 appearances in the Championship last season for Middlesbrough. You could have played him on the left side of central defence. That's his natural. That's a natural position with him. He struggled a bit at left wing back because they changed the system. I'm sure he could have got used to it. But why not, play with a bit of balance?
No, well, that's what we're supposed to
have
do.
two right-footed players on the left side, you're asking for trouble. And when he backed into Prelec for that free kick, that was just plain stupid.
Yeah. I have to
was
say,
looking
Tom,
for it and he got it.
Tom, when you say about dropping in at the deep end, and I think Darm picked up on here, Darm said deep end, it's bloody Oxford. I mean, being dropped in at the deep end is at Ellen Road on a Tuesday night and it's pissing down with rain, right?
And
you're trying to defend. No, you're trying to defend a 1-0 lead.
3-0 down.
Yeah,
7-0
I mean,
down.
that's. I'm not piling in on you with that one, Tom.
No, the only thing I could say is there's clearly a reason he hasn't brought him on that early. Is what I'm saying. Because if he's fully fit, if he's match fit, he's getting brought on. So what I'm thinking is he's not up to full fitness. He hasn't played much at Middlesbrough. He only came on for a couple of cameos. I don't think, and he won't bring on Hayden Roberts because he's nowhere near the level. So he's brought on Tanner, who's a steady Eddie, and he's shifted everyone along. That's the reason.
I mean, look, if we're and let's be fair, if we're at a club that is losing between 18 and 20 million before player sales, what side does Jamie Knight the Bell player?
Well, he's a centre back. He's right-footed.
He's right. Okay, I was going to say because he scored for Swindon yesterday. Well done, Jamie. Right, but if he'd have been left-footed, which you've told me he's not, so I stand corrected there. It begs a question: why do we let him go over there?
Because they think he's not up to playing Championship football. That is the only thing that the only conclusion that we can draw is that after the crew loan. And I think he has some injuries there.
Well, Benny just said, but why is Roberts
Championship football?
Why is Roberts even on the bench or Cornick?
Exactly. What's the point? You're exactly right.
All right, let's stick with the action. I mean, after their goal, we had those one-on-one chances a couple of times. Reece hit one wide.
I think you can blame Mehmeti a bit for that as well, David, because I think he doesn't make it easy. He runs out wide. If he runs into the area. Yeah. He gives Reece an opportunity to roll the ball across, but he stays out wide and doesn't really offer a good option. Yeah. But Reece should have scored.
I'm going to say something here. I thought first half, and he was over the far side, I thought Sykes was crap today. Yeah. First half. And Twiney, he almost redeemed himself with that free kick. But Neil, what did you...
I mean, we were talking at half time about Sykes. Sykes gave the ball away 3 or 4 times in the first half, as did Twine, and they broke quickly on us. They waited, they put pressure on them, they made bad decisions, they gave the ball away, and pretty much all of their breaks in that first half, when they got behind us or got close, were from us giving the ball away in stupid positions. And then McCrory was so high first half, so high, that it was just creating a massive imbalance on the left-hand side in relation to it. And then, of course, Zach, being naturally right-footed, is getting dragged across the right-hand side, which is leaving a gap.
Well, they had a 3-on-2 at one stage.
I'll tell you who was appalling today. Knight.
Well, let's come on to. I want to say,
but when he plays poorly, the team play poorly.
Absolutely.
But Randall's been
I thought Randall had a decent game today.
But he'll take Randall off,
and he always takes Randall. Well, that's the point I was going to make. Why does he take him? Why does he take him off? Tom, the second goal. I was looking at my watch, thinking, "Oh God, let's get this first half over. We don't want to go in another goal." And then, it was a worldie. But poor Knight clearance. Tom, take us through this second goal as you saw it.
Yeah, I mean, it is a great strike. I think you said Vitek. Someone said Vitek could have done a bit better. I don't think he could have done really. It's a great strike. Same with Mehmeti's strike. They're both great goals. It's just, however, the defending in our box all throughout the game was so poor. Clearing our lines, we didn't seem to want to actually clear our lines. No. The marking we knew that number 6, Hellick, is a big lad. They want to play into him when he's in the box. And even that Lancashire, the lad on loan from Tottenham, they're big lads, but we didn't deal with them at all. And you think Dickie, Atkinson at the time, Viner, they're all they should be dominant, but we got outplayed. And then it falls to that Paqueta, and it's a great strike, but it's on probably the worst possible time you can concede, right on the straight half time.
45 plus 3, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with me, I think someone alluded to it in the chat. It's not really relevant to this, but it's just how much depth we lack. Like on the bench, it's such a poor bench when you break it down. You've got Cornick, Mueller, and Armstrong. Well, if you want any of them to come on and score you a goal, that's mental. Like, it's not happening. So you've got 2 left backs, as we said, Roberts and Borges. Obviously, you'd think Borges would be up to it. You want him to play left centre back, preferably. He hasn't been brought on. Roberts is nowhere near it. So really, if you've got Atkinson out and the 6 others that have been said, we haven't got a great many options going into the next couple of games, because we've got Saturday, Tuesday coming up. So that's the only concern for me. It's a bad loss today, but overall, that's the main problem, I think.
Yeah. Mark, that second goal, I went to the game with my friend Tim Capel, who does the odd bit for BT Sport or TNT and what have you. And he said, Plaqueta, it reminded him he was a poor man's Jack Grealish with the hairband and what have you. But I'll tell you who he reminded me of a bit as well, and you're old enough to remember this. Remember that Scott McGarvey that came on? Did we have him on? Yeah, with the Buffon hairstyle and what have you.
I think he came from Carlisle. Yeah, he was Man United, wasn't he? Player at one point. I think he started.
Anyway, the goal. I mean, couldn't have come at a worse time, could it?
It's just a poor clearance from Jason Knight. It's like he had slippers on. I mean, the corner's poor. It doesn't get off the ground, but he clears the ball in front of him. I mean, you're told you do not play. Not play the ball forward. Because you've got an attacking player. There's no pressure on the ball. He's just outside the box, and he rifles it in the top corner. The sheer pace of the ball beats Vitek. Vitek makes a valiant attempt to save it, but it's right in the top corner. It's a fantastic goal. It's right on half time, the worst possible time. But Jason Knight's clearance, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Well,
he just takes a swing at it. He could have cleared it up the pitch, but he kicks it straight to Plaqueta, and Plaqueta returns it with aplomb straight in the top corner. Yeah. That would have been the goal of the game, but we'll get on to that later. We'll come on to
that in a minute. Neil, there was some question whether it was even a corner, but you're not in a position to see it. I'm not. Where do you watch it from, Tom? Are you South Stand?
Nah, E30 the Dolman.
You're Dolman. You saw it, Mark.
No, I've seen the replay. The ball bounces forward to Helik, and then Plaqueta and McCrory contest the ball. Now I can't see how the assistant referee is obscured by Plaqueta can see that McCrory's touched the ball, and the referee's too far away. So it could come back to this thing: is the Premiership, the Premier League triumvirate. How can they see that McCrory's touched the ball? It squeezes between his legs, and the assistant referee gives a corner. I don't know how that's clear and obvious. I really don't. But it's still a bad. I mean, the corner is an awful touch by Jason Knight. Don't clear it in front of him.
Sorry to interrupt. Jason Knight, I know you said about his performance, but all in all, I think for the last, especially 2 seasons, he has been comfortably our best player. So we can't.
Yeah, he's definitely our biggest.
No, absolutely right, Tom. Absolutely, 100%.
He's entitled to an off game because he's played basically into the ground in every other game.
I think that is the issue, though, Mark. Mark, that is the issue, and Richard Hopkins has picked it up. Richard Hopkins has picked it up on the text feed on the screen here. Perhaps she can come home to roost with Knight. Too much 90 minutes plus football.
Well, he was even playing in the League Cup game. It's ridiculous, wouldn't it? Why play him against Fulham?
I don't actually think he's been at his usual standards this season. I think Randall's actually been better than him.
I've said on more than one occasion, Randall has been more Knight than Jason Knight. Yeah, it's still that Knight is the one. Randall's the one who gets taken off.
We got rid of.
Well, Randall's recovery work has been exemplary. You see the way he wins the ball back, gets his head up. He does all the spade work. He's what the French in the French team would be like. I think it was it Djorkaeff was known as the water carrier, or was it Deschamps, one of the French players? He's the water carrier in the team. He does all of the heavy lifting for the midfield, and really that's what should free up Jason Knight. It certainly would have freed up Max Bird if he'd have come on in place of Scott Twine, because when he went off, there was no creativity.
No,
but I do go back to the first half in particular. The linesmen's and the ref, just talking about
Yeah,
that
go on.
ref of the coin, you could tell that I was looking at him and I thought, he's a Premiership referee. I recognised him, and then we looked up and it's John Brooks. And obviously the linesmen, they work alongside the Premiership. They work as a team normally, a team of three, so they're used to working together. And they had this really annoying habit. Obviously, in the Premiership with the VAR, they don't put the flags up straight away because they allow the game to carry on. And if there is a goal, then they're relying on VAR to bring it back. So the default for Premiership linesmen and Premiership referees is to allow the game to play through, but actually then put the flag up when it, a number of seconds afterwards. And that just really started to get on everybody's.
Well, you said earlier that's why they felt the players lost their round.
Well, rhymes with bits. I think that.
I think throughout it. I mean, there was a few questionable decisions that he was making on the pitch, but they didn't necessarily affect the game. But when you're seeing Vitek getting one for dissent and they hadn't scored, and then you're seeing there was an awful tackle by Borges on Borges, by Volks, awful. That was the type of thing Malumbi got a straight red for. So then he books in, then Viner comes up, says something, and he books Viner for dissent straight after that. And you're like, no, whether he thinks I can't, that's not a red card. He was very quick to say that was a yellow card, but then it's the type of thing that VAR probably would have looked at. It calls
if the foot's coming down over the top, so if it's in a sort of stamping and their studs up, then it's going to be a guaranteed red card.
I mean, from my
making any decision to pull out.
It looked vicious, Mark. It looked vicious. It's the type of thing that VAR, I think, would have looked at and potentially overruled it and made it a red rather than because it was the type of thing like Malumbi did in that against Lou Williams in that West Brom game. Tipped the tide. But throughout it all, he tried to let the game go, but then in the same way he didn't make a lot of decisions in the game. I think, and that caused us to.
When was the last time we heard a crowd chant, "You don't know what you're doing" to a referee? It's been quite a while.
Every game. Every game behind me.
In the second half, we weren't. Oh, we got to talk about the linking goal that.
Before we come to that,
why not? Let's do that.
You in at half time. I thought for Sykes at half time, he's made those brave decisions, and I thought changes, but he's obviously made the decision, right, I'm going to give them 10, 15 minutes at the start of the second half to do it. But at 2-0 down, and it wasn't working, you could tell a number of players, Sykes included, but Twine, but you kind of keep Twine on for this mythical.
No.
Well, no. I mean,
I thought he
was to it, but he was poor.
He was poor
Today, but you kind of keep him on because you're just there when he got the free kick. Can you imagine what would have happened if he'd taken him off 5 minutes beforehand and then we get a free kick?
We'd have all been saying, he should have had
he would have gone, shoulda, woulda, coulda.
I'll tell you who's playing well at the moment, and he did some great tackling back. He forced them back, and that's Mehmeti, right? He's playing like a bloke who's playing for a contract, and it ain't going to be here. Would you agree with that, Tom? Do you think I'm a bit suspicious with that comment?
I'd agree. I think for Mehmeti, we all know how frustrating he is, but this season he has generally started well, and I think even tracking back, and he isn't as sulky now, and he just seems to be a bit more like willing almost. I think he's done. I mean, if he'd be one of the first names on the team sheet, and his output now is also a lot better than when he first joined the club. But regarding the attack, I think Neil alluded to it. We did break through them a lot today. It's just not taking our chances, and it's been like that.
Yeah,
a lot of games we have obviously taken our chances, but most teams in this league are there for the taking. It's just taking them really, because I think if we've watched games on Sky, I haven't been impressed by many teams really. I haven't watched Middlesbrough play, but all in all, I don't think today's a bad loss. People would have seen that and thought, "Wow, I never had that on the cards." Yeah. But it's just regarding the squad and Mehmeti, we have got a few players who are probably punching a bit above their weight. All in all, I think Viner probably much the same. Although he got moved to the left side, he's another one who's out of contract. I think there's a few of them who have been playing well, and probably destined for a bit better than getting contracts with us, as you said, Dave.
Yeah, well, it's not it's been given offered better contracts elsewhere as much as anything. The goal, Tom, and I'll come to you next, Mark, and then you, Neil, for the goal. I mean, we were treated to two worldies today, whichever way you look at it, and that I think both of them took slight deflections, didn't they? Did you think that, Tom, for Mehmeti's?
I didn't think for Mehmeti's. No. Both of them were
straight in. It was an arrow. Well,
they said it on the commentary, but no, it didn't touch anybody.
Mark, that strike from Mehmeti, he is starting to look like he was doing that in League One, but he's starting to do it. I'll say it consistently in the Championship now.
Yeah, he's enjoying his football. When he does things instinctively, they're brilliant. When he takes too many touches, they're poor. But he worked the ball across the box, and he knew exactly what he was going to do. Got his knee over the ball, and cracked it into the top corner, in off the bar, and I just stood there, and you're saying WTF. I'm not going to say that. It was absolutely brilliant goal. I mean, thought Plaqueta's goal was good. This was like up to 11. If anybody watched Spinal Tap, absolute belter in the top corner. Their keeper didn't get anywhere near it at all. It was a goal deserved of winning the game.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it was just playing catch up. But what a goal! What inventiveness just come across. If that was in the Premier League, they'd be purring about that. We'd be playing it. We'd be going viral. But it just
they'd be showing it. They'd be showing
exactly.
it time and time again. I mean, when we get that goal at 2-1, 54 minutes, I think it was, So he'd made the two substitutions, hadn't he? No, he hadn't made it. No, of course he didn't. He hadn't made them yet.
He made one substitution, hadn't he?
Yeah, he'd done the one. That's right, the very early one. Yeah. You get that goal back, and the crowd were actually agitated for a little bit, and you're thinking we're going to go on and win this, because we did seem to up the game a little bit for the only time, I thought.
They were rattled. We had a good, strong 10 minutes after that.
Yeah.
But then they played through it. They played through it.
We didn't have any chances after it, really, did we? There was that long range effort from Randall.
No, I think we got in the box a few times. The ball, the passing wasn't there. The crossing wasn't there. Randall had a really good chance, but it was on his left foot rather than his right foot.
That was the one that was rising and went past the post. Yeah.
So I think we were, you forget about the fact that they should have been 3-0 up. It was a fantastic save by Vitek onto the post.
Yeah.
Long header, wasn't it?
He just got a fingertip on.
That was a Lankshire's effort, wasn't it?
That's right.
No, long
set pieces.
Yeah.
Today we just could not defend set pieces. The one thing I'd say about the back three, as it is, they're not really first ball winners in the nicest possible way. Atkinson's your first ball winner. McNally certainly is your first ball winner. I don't. It's the reason why Viner doesn't play down the centre.
Yeah.
Because he's not gonna win the aerial duels. So you put Dickey down. I thought Dickey at times today was a bit sluggish. I mean, the third goal, when we come to that, we can talk a little bit more about Dickey in general. But I mean, he's never the most mobile. Dickey at the end of the day. But I think with today, I mean, you go out to Preston next week and Osmanic. If he was watching that today, he'd just be licking his lips, wouldn't he? In the way in which last season Reece and Osmanic absolutely murdered us.
Yeah.
When we played last game of the season for Preston.
At home. That was at home.
That was at home. Osmanic watching that today. Aerial balls, set pieces.
Yeah.
Just hit it in with a bit of pace. And
Well, he does play football with a lot of bite, doesn't he, Neil? Quite literally sometimes.
Yeah. Tom, let me ask you a question. You mentioned his name earlier, Lancashire. Is he on loan from Tottenham?
Yeah, I believe so. He's decent. He looks all right, yeah.
And I mean, this is Oxford. They ain't got a lot of money.
No.
He's very young. He was at Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Tottenham got him from Sheffield United from their under-21s, and he's one of those like the Parrots and like the Dane Scarlets that'll be in and around, but loaned out for a number of years.
But you look at him, and he can't be costing a lot of money. And then you look at
Brian
Cornick
de
made-
Keersmacher, who was their man of the match. He was only 1.6 million, and that supposedly is their biggest fee that they've ever played.
Yeah.
And his
Well, I was saying to
delivery
Tom,
and his
though,
tackling back was excellent.
What I was saying to Tom, we got a classic scenario of 3 bang average players, right? That we could have eased them out just to get them away from the place by funding half their wages, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to take it on the chin that you've made.
People have got to want them, though. That's the problem, isn't it? Was there the interest in them
Well,
for us
according
to be
to a
able to do it?
certain person at the start of the year, we could have doubled our money on one of them, but let's not go there. But Tom, for every good signing that we make, and we have made some good ones, there's no doubt about that, but we do seem to cock it up on the other side. We're getting a 1 in 3 success rate, aren't we?
I mean, I got to be fair. I think the recruitment the summer just gone has all in all been pretty good. The way you could say Lumley isn't. I think we all knew what Lumley was like before as he signed. That isn't the best signing, but we got Vitek in.
Well, that was down. Vitek was down to Struber himself. He said that at the senior Reds.
Nice, yeah. So that's obviously a positive. So last summer, the attacking, the striker recruitment in Fally and Armstrong, that's borderline unforgivable. They aren't coming good. I think we all know that. Chucking them both on is a bit of a last resort sort of move. So, but I think all in all, the recruitment this summer's been good. You look at Randall, I think he's probably been our best player the last couple of games.
Yeah, no, that was a snip. Very good. Very good sign.
Going along with that, Lancashire for Oxford today, he as a backup, sort of a second striker, we could have really done with someone like that, a youngster willing to learn.
The point. That's the point I was making. We're carrying 3 full wages, and as Benny said on here, 2 of them are on 4-year contracts. We're carrying 3 wages, whereas if you had a choice of Lancashire and out of those 4, you'd put him in, and you'd say, well, he's the young Premier League striker type that we all crave, and you have him as backup to. Reece, then you're not going to argue too much. And noticeably, Reece did the full 90 today because we had that ridiculous thing that nobody creating the chances and 3 strikers on the field.
Well, it was almost like district football for me at the end, putting the 3 strikers up, and then he put Mehmeti at centre midfield.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I had no idea. I mean, why he didn't keep Mehmeti in the top line, on the left, and then played it. Okay, if you're going to go 3 up top, play 3 up top. But Reece, he's been fantastic, Reece.
Yeah,
he's been fantastic, and I'm not. Everybody's allowed to have a bad game or a couple of games or whatever, and he wasn't quite on it. He was quite badly. In fact, I thought his confidence kind of dropped a little bit when he went on that run and badly skewed the shot when he was free a couple of times and didn't take his chances, and his confidence went a little bit. And he wasn't the player in the second half that he was in the first half.
Yeah.
But both of Oxford's players up top today, that Prelec as well as on loan. So Lancashire and Prelec, both on loan. They picked up the 2 from Heracles as well, who were outstanding for both of them. That de
Keersmacher, Brian de Keersmacher
from Heracles.
He was man of the match.
Yeah, I mean, their recruitment has been good on a limited budget. We just went completely off. I mean, we've spoken about it before, haven't we? Last summer, we went completely off. We overpaid for Twine on what we could have got him for, a lot cheaper. Negotiations were rubbish. Then we ended up with Earthy and a duplication. Then we bought Stokes in, but then...
we bought McNally as well. McNally broke the budget. We like him. That was a good signing. McNally.
I like him, but now he's injured, and now these 4-year contracts that you've got are just if you say Sinclair, and I think Struber is quite honest about Sinclair, because I think if he could have gone, he would have gone to that Turkey. I'm pretty sure, because Struber was almost saying, look, I've got no one to replace him, so let's keep him in. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him go in January when they actually do it. But I think, there's been some awful trading in the forward positions today. Yeah. But the strange thing for me was the first 3 substitutions today were all defensive substitutions. Whereas, which must mean you're looking at the bench and thinking, Christ, I haven't got much options. You got Cornick, Fally, and Sinclair, and he must be thinking,
God help me. Yeah.
You know,
No,
Well,
that's right.
if you got Cornick, a
the
man who
90
should be
off
nowhere
each
near
one
the
or
first
90
team
in case
squad.
we get a free kick or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, all right, let's move on because we've got quite a bit to cover off the field as well. Each of you for the goal. Tom, the third goal, summed up the afternoon, really, didn't it? One of their blokes ducked. Was it a Dembele? How many Dembeles are there in the world of football? But he looked like he ducked, and that flat-footed everybody, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to give credit to Oxford because their set pieces. Generally, we are bad at defending and our own attacking set pieces, but they were generally quite good and they were well organised, even with and without the ball and on set pieces. So, but yeah, the third goal is a bad one. Another
It was
bad
Greg
one.
Lee. It wasn't Dembele. I think Dembele was fouled by Dickey. It was De Keersmaker's pass, and it was actually Greg Lee that
No,
got
Greg
him.
Lee's header, but
Greg Lee's header.
he was the one that ducked, was it? Right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he thinks it brushed the top of his head, but I mean, if you
Yeah.
look at the replay, you can't really tell.
Who was that? He had a hairstyle like that bloke that used to play back in the 90s with a pineapple.
Jason Lee.
Jason
Yeah,
Lee.
I think we might get
There you go.
in trouble for saying things like that. There you go.
Lee by nature.
Greg Lee was the one that should have got sent off for them last season. Away game.
Right.
Well,
Tom,
yeah.
finish what you were saying just about the goal. Yeah, but Vitek will be disappointed with himself that got in.
Yeah, I mean, Vitek would be disappointed, but we haven't exactly helped ourselves giving away the foul, similar to the first goal with Viner. It's just a poor one to give away, really. It's no great need to give it away, but we were, I mean, attacking and defending set pieces. Something's got to change there. Because even every game we're winning, we're still very poor from set pieces. That's the problem. No matter who's on them, when Bird's on them, Twine's obviously, his free kicks are good, but from crosses, something's got to change because we just look just poor overall.
Well, Mark, something's got to change. The one constant in the backroom staff over all these years is Pat Mountain, who's the goalkeeping coach, but also happens to do set pieces. Methinks that maybe a few fingers should be pointing in that direction. Do you agree?
Well, what's Mayulu to marking Lee? I mean, the ball's just tossed into the area. Surely he's got to make a challenge. He's got to be closer to the player. I think Vitek goes mad because I think he's partially obscured. He's expecting somebody to make a header. I think so. By the time he made a decision, the ball's just bounced right through him. But Mayulu just watches it. He drops off. He drops off. Lee ducks into the header. I think it just brushes the top of his head, but not. It's nowhere near powerful enough. But what is Mayulu doing? Zonal marking? It's ridiculous. Just stay tight to the player. Stay tight to the player, and he can't do anything as long as you don't apply any pressure to the body. He's not going to win a penalty, and we get the ball back, and we can go down the field again. But they score a goal, and the game's dead.
That's it. Well, it is. Then say everybody was streaming out the ground then when that one went.
Yeah, I wonder who streamed out the ground. Hang on,
Neil. Pat Mountain, goalkeeping coach, set play.
I mean,
defending.
we've conceded 7 goals from 6 games. You know, defensively, we haven't looked generally that bad. I mean, we are where we are defensively. I think the injuries are starting to mount up defensively, and we are starting to look a little bit short, potentially. But it's symptomatic of the day, wasn't it? It's a throw-in, and Dickey misjudges the throw-in, lets the ball go over the top of him, and then he's got a foul, then he's got to get a yellow card. Then they whip the ball in, and obviously, I think what Rowett will have done is he would have looked at it and gone, they're susceptible to the quick balls across.
Yeah.
Whip it in fast, low, and hard across the thing, and they are susceptible to it. Jason Knight, Fally, when you watch it back, we're just passive. And today, the first goal we're passive with the fast with that cross. Third goal we're passive. We'd let the ball. If one of them put a challenge in at the very least, but that's a bit quick. And Fally's like,
I've seen.
And everybody. Why does zonal marking though, Neil? Why don't we just stay tight to their players? And there's no way he can score. He's got his back to goal. Why not just stay tight? He's never going to score then, is he?
I think classically in that situation, you say just attack the ball rather than attack the player.
Yeah.
So in a zonal situation, you're obviously working with the ball rather than the player. The player would be a man-for-man situation. So they've let the ball bounce, but they haven't even got near it. And then both of them are in a daze. When you watch it back, both of them are just in a daze. And you can, how many times have we seen a cross come in over the years and bounce and go past the keeper? You know, that's not the first.
But it's
time
but
that
it's
keeper's
why
been
is
built
why
with
is
it.
why
And
is
it
your
is
centre
based on the ball. I mean, both of his
Yeah.
deliveries today were fantastic.
Yeah.
Same guy for the third goal as
Yeah.
for the first goal. The deliveries are fantastic. We just haven't
But
defended.
why is your centre forward in that position directly in front of the goalkeeper? Why is he the one who's in the middle
He's
of the
still
goal?
6'4". I mean, who else
Yeah.
have we got height wise, Mark? I mean, at the end of the day,
Not
Atkinson
many.
is your strongest header of the ball.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think Dickie's a particularly great header of the ball, but he's not
Yeah.
bad.
yeah.
Viner is dreadful on the ball, heading the ball generally, and you know you're
Not even the
talking
best
about where's
either.
the height in the team
Yeah.
really to do it. I'm not a great fan of that. Just before that goal, Sinclair, everybody's back in the box, and they had to tell Sinclair 3 times, which is not surprising when you watch Sinclair. Go up. You know, we're 2-1 down. We don't need to defend this third goal. So then they spent half of their time, about 3 players, telling Sinclair to go up to the halfway line to do it. And then finally he moves off up to the halfway line because we suck it back. And we've got this situation in football nowadays where, and I think it started off with Paul Warne when he was at Derby, when he was, the analysts have looked at it. And if you have everybody back in the penalty area, you know, you're less likely to concede a goal than score a goal at the other end. So a lot of the teams nowadays, they pull everybody back into the penalty area or just up to, rather than the old days of leaving 1 or 2 players.
Because if
up
you
on the
leave
half
one
line.
up, well, Gary Hours was saying this on BBC after the game on the radio.
Oh, was he?
Because we would,
Okay.
if you leave one person up, they're always going to leave 2.
But we're 2-1
Yeah.
down. It's 90 minutes. 8 minutes go up on the ball.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Sinclair Armstrong has decided, oh no, I'm going to come back and help defend this. As if that's going to make any difference, Sinclair.
I know. And
Yeah,
then,
you're right, David.
Well, why
If
would
you
you
do
leave
take
Fally?
one
Hang
out,
on,
they
just
equally
Fally
need to take one back.
and him
Yeah.
on the half.
I mean, look, Robin's Nest has made a very salient point here on there. Rowett had a blinder today. They really did their homework on us, so I think I agree. Look, we're done with the match action. First of all, let's talk about ladies' football. Before we do that, we've got to give condolences to the family of Matt Beard, who was a manager, coach of Bristol City Women for a period, who tragically passed away today. But on the field, the ladies did well. They beat Southampton 1-0, so it's only 3 games, but they're sat in 3rd place, a bit like the men's team. 4th, is it now? 4th, right? I stand corrected there. But it's news of the ladies team off the field that caught the headlines this week. Tom, that was a bit left of field. Mercury 13 with all their smart suits and flashy presentations, all these people coming on to say why they had bought Bristol City women's team. What did you think of that? And what do you think we should take from that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a positive. You think I obviously couldn't say I know much about them, but regarding the women's game, it's good to see some investment into that sort of field, because you look at a lot of teams, they aren't running on massive budgets compared to the men's game. But it's interesting to see how that relates to obviously the men's and the HBC almost, because it's sort of a different avenue they're going down now. I couldn't say I've seen too much about Mercury, but it's definitely a positive, and hopefully the women can sort of get back to the WSL and do their thing, really. Yeah.
Mark, what did you think? That was a little bit left field when it came?
I haven't come across this story, but I think the investment, if City Women did reach the WSL Premier League, is paramount, because otherwise it's just going to be a yo-yo club. They can't compete with the top teams. So any investment where, you know, the women move around a lot of clubs, contracts seem to be a bit more flimsy, and players get transferred rather quickly, is paramount, because we got the facilities there. I mean, if you look at London City Lionesses, they seem to be holding their own in the Premier League at the moment, and not even affiliated to a men's team. So good on them.
Yeah. I mean, Neil, what are they buying? You know, because we've had this chat on here before. We're going to talk about the Nixon's rumour in a second. But we've had these chats before. What are they buying? They haven't got a ground, so they've just got a
No,
bottomless pit.
I think it's a really smart move by Mercury. So Mercury own a number of teams in Europe.
Well, I think it's only 2 now, including us.
Well, okay, but
maybe
at least
they're going to get some more.
they've got European teams already. So they've got
Well, I
these
think they have
conglomerates.
one. I'm pretty certain.
I think they had 2.
All right,
but we agreed to disagree.
we can.
I think with it, City, when they were in the WSL, had like about the 4th or 5th highest attendances in Europe.
They did.
And when they got relegated, the average attendance for the WSL went down by a couple of thousand because City had actually got relegated. So we've had the England women play at Ashton Gate a number of times.
I'm right. They got this.
He's not going to leave.
I'm looking at the Mercury 13 website, and it is good.
What is Mercury 13? Please explain to me.
Well,
Sorry.
probably like Game Changer 20 was up at Ipswich, but that's another story.
So it's an investment group.
So basically, WSL are expanding. So this year in WSL 2 go up automatically, and 1, I think there's like a promotion playoff type thing. So the 3rd place team. So the WSL is expanding. There's only 12 teams in the WSL, and I think at the very least they're trying to bring it up to about 14, possibly even 16 teams, and then expand WSL 2 as well.
Yeah.
So they're trying to bring more teams into it, and the money going into the women's game is immense at the moment. And a lot of the clubs now are selling. I mean, other than Chelsea that sell it to themselves as some sort of slightly iffy scenario. But a lot of the women's teams are being bought out by the clubs, by these people that actually see the basis of it. Now, Mercury 13, if they get us back into WSL,
good for them. And then
how much is that
and
club
European
going to be
football,
worth?
and you could have a World Women's League because it's easier to do that rather than the historical and everything to do with because bad enough when they talk about Arsenal playing one of their games over in America.
But then
I
was talking to a few people today, David, about not just this, but Bristol Bears. They're in advanced stage to be sold as well.
Are they?
Yeah. So there's takeover talks of Bristol Bears and everything at the moment. So both the rugby.
All right. Well, that brings us on the next thing.
And they're splitting.
So we talk about an exit strategy on a certain football team as well, Neil?
We'll talk about that.
We're alluding to.
It says their website, our clubs, and it's us and FC Como. I actually went to Lake Como once many years ago, and it's a lovely place, Como. And the football ground, there was a game going on. I think I got there after 5 o'clock, but it is a lovely place. So maybe they'll have an exchange visit there. We got to talk about the pitch. What a marvelous condition the pitch was in, considering it was the 3rd game in the space of 72 hours that was played on it. Now, hands up. I'm putting my hand up. Hands up who's been on the Norwich City Forum in the last 24 hours, maybe before.
Don't care. Don't care. Hang on, David. It's something about Liam Manning, possibly.
Something about Liam Manning. I suppose it's karma for me because I was on there last
David,
night.
you're not in the Brotherhood of Manning then.
No, I was on there last night and I made a few comments. Nothing like, didn't use the term "told you so," but I was on there, so it was karma.
You did. Why didn't?
I was being unkind, and it came back and bit me in the arse today with us losing. But poor Liam, he's he's getting some pelters up there. But you know, if he's looking for his first home win come mid-October, if he's still in a job, put your money on Norwich to get their first home win of the season against us. That is so Bristol City.
They've got other games to play before then, haven't they?
Hey?
Why would they want that? Why would they want that sort of pressure that he's facing? I mean, I'm sure they'll get home win soon. I mean, they lost Borja Sainz and they lost Nunez as well.
Sargent, they've spent 25
Josh Sargent's
million.
still there. He was all ready to go to Watford, but he changed his mind, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, they spent 25 and they've recouped 33, so he's net plus 9.
I think the thing is with he's not a great fit for them at the moment, is he?
No.
I mean, I think we were potentially for the 14 months before we had that 4 months of bizarre 2-1, 2-1,
Yeah.
2-1, 2-1
6,
scenario
2-1,
for 14 months. I mean, Swansea at home when we lost 1-0,
Yeah.
none of us saw what was going to happen for the 4 months after that. But most people were bored to death, weren't they?
Well, but that's what the Norwich and their threshold at Carrow Road, because in the 50 odd years that I've been watching football, a bit like Tottenham, really, you associate Norwich with being an attack-minded team. You know, Tottenham
last year they were almost top scorers in the division.
Yeah.
I know they've lost signs.
You got a view on it? You got a view on it, Tom?
I think regarding
more to your life than I have, looking at Norwich City Forum, the Pink 'Un, as it's called.
Yeah, I think regarding Manning, he hasn't had the best to start there, particularly at home. But as you said, we play them in October at their place. So let's see then where we both are in the league, and then also how we get on that day, because that ain't the easiest place to go. It's miles away, first and foremost. I've been there on a night, and it is hideous. So I won't be going again.
On that basis, then, Tom, if we're struggling and don't want to drop him in at the deep end, you wouldn't be bringing Borges on in the second half.
Exactly that. Exactly.
Right,
that.
and then the final piece of news, or is it news? Is it pure speculation? There's 30 pages on the forum about it, and following on from selling the ladies' football, and that's news to me about rugby going the same way. Potentially, no smoke without fire. But the spectre of some of the AI graphics of him in a City shirt, but Turkey Al-Sheikh gonna buy Bristol City. I mean, we're a better bet than Sheffield Wednesday because that's a dump. We're a better bet than Millwall because there's certain people down there and their affiliations and what have you. That doesn't sit very well. Tom and Mark, and then you, Tom. Would you welcome Turkey Al-Sheikh and the Saudi money?
Yeah, I definitely welcome it. But you see how sometimes these new owners go at clubs. I mean, you've only got to look down the leagues in recent years. There's been a lot of teams that have owners have come in, poor ownership, and they've just dropped down the leagues quick time. That's with Lansdowne. I think is sometimes better the devil you know. He's obviously put a lot of money into the club. The infrastructure is very good, but if this guy wanted to come in and buy the football club, I'd imagine Lansdowne would be more than happy to sell the football club. But it's just how it works as a whole with the Bristol Sport model, Ashton Gate, and all of that's my only concern. But I'd be more than happy for a new owner. Really, I'm not too.
You're not really too bothered about the ethics and.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm happy if he wants to come in and he's got these good ideas and wants to get us up. I'd be more than happy. Of course, you would as a football fan, but it's just logistically how it would work off the pitch more than the players.
Well, it's financial management as well, as much as anything. Mark, Tom seems to be and there's a big contingent at City. Be careful what you wish for, yeah. And we look at Brighton, Bournemouth, and Brentford as the three clubs that we model ourselves on. Brighton have done it with their own version of Steve Lansdowne. I think is it Tony Bloom. Brentford have done it with Matthew Benham.
He's an ex-City trader.
Bournemouth, we're the feeder club for Bournemouth. Did do it with Russian money where they took a gamble. How would you feel about it? Saudi Arabian money coming in the shape of Turkey Al-Sheikh.
Well, I don't think football fans have any integrity. They just want to see their team do well on the pitch. But regardless of the investment, it all comes down to recruitment. I mean, Newcastle have got money coming out of their ears, but they're worried about PSR, breaking PSR rules. So they have to be very careful about the way that they traded, similar to some other clubs. I mean, so when the Newcastle fans started wearing headgear last season or the season before, this was absolutely crazy. Changing the away colours to green to match the Saudi Arabian flag, those sorts of things. So
they were wearing that today, weren't they, at Bournemouth?
Yeah, I mean, some of the politics are questionable, but football fans, I mean, Manchester City are effectively state-owned, and every time somebody puts petrol in their car, it's going into Man City pockets. But it's all about recruitment. I mean, teams like Brentford know that if you run on a strict budget, but you recruit well, and Brighton are exactly the same, that you can do well on the pitch without having to spend a fortune. and that is the key thing. Recruitment is the key thing. We have got we might be born unpredictable in terms of the way we run and the fact that we got huge overheads, we got huge aspirations because we're a big city club, big city in terms of the size of the city, one of the largest in the UK, but we've only ever had 2 periods in the top division, and the problem has been with our recruitment. That is the major problem, not the fact that we haven't got the money. There, I mean, we're talking about the man of the match today for Oxford. He only cost 1.6 million. When Coventry recruited Gustavo Harmer, he was only about £1 million.
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head
there, the guy who plays for Leeds. Joel Pirro, who plays for Leeds, who went from Swansea. He cost a pittance. There are players out there, if you recruit well, and we just haven't recruited well in the forward department before this season, and that is our problem. Not money, it's recruitment.
Neil, would you willingly take the money? And do you think, I mean, Lansdowne it's like living in a house and saying my house is worth 2 million, but the highest priced house in the street is worth 1. You're never going to get the price you want, even though you might have spent £1 million doing it up. That's a bit like Bristol City, isn't it? You know, he spunked away $333 million, probably more than that, on losses and infrastructure. That's how much Lansdowne has put into this.
Okay.
So if somebody comes along who's
there's two sides to this, and I've been speaking to people throughout the whole week, and there's 2 sides to this. There's the first side that Bristol Sport doesn't really exist as such. We say Bristol Sport, but it's actually Pooler Sports. Pooler Sports.
You'll be saying, hang on, you'll be saying Coronation Street's not real next. What are you talking about?
Well, no, Bristol Sport is just it's a service arm of it, isn't it? So when we say Bristol Sport, we think the service arm. But the women's team was direct into Pooler in the same way that Bears are direct into Pooler, and Bristol City is part of Bristol City Holdings, which is Ashton Gate Limited and Bristol City Football Club. So they're into Bristol City Holdings, which then report in. So there's various different sort of chunks to it.
Yeah.
Now this guy, from what I said, and we had this conversation, didn't we, with regards to it. This guy is worth billions, so say. He's a Saudi guy. He's all about presentation, razzmatazz, all of this type of scenario.
What's his?
Do we not think that he's going to have a media team that will present? If he was interested in your football club, it certainly wouldn't be coming from some northern journalist who has got questionable links with regards to City at the best of times. Some of the stuff that Eric Nixon has posted about City over the years, if you actually go back with regards to it, he's very, very...
Sorry, is it Alan Nixon, I think, or it's Alan Nixon?
Alan Nixon, I do apologise. Yeah, Eric Nixon's the old Tranmere goalkeeper, isn't it? Yeah, so Alan Nixon, it's not going to come via Twitter, is it? And nobody else on a Twitter. If you see it, everyone goes, quote, reluctant Nico, quote, reluctant Nico, quote, reluctant Nico. So either Alan Nixon has got a complete beeline into the Saudi royal family, that is the Saudi royal family, that is either, you know, using Alan Nixon.
They use better people. Look, these people, these professional business people, Mercury 13 came out of nowhere, right? And if you looked at the people that they had up front talking in the camera and everything like that, who's saying they can't hear anybody? Is it Mark? Yeah, you can. Okay, these people are professionals, right? Now, if somebody comes along and buys it lock, stock, and barrel, I question whether they would do that, because if they did, then Manchester United would be doing a sporting model. Yeah, they'd have Sale playing at their ground and etc. like that, right? If somebody comes along and buys the football club, what are they getting? There's no asset there.
Well, 18 to 24 months ago, there was a takeover consortium at the HPC for a number of months that were given a room there to do due diligence on the club.
Right.
Did anybody hear anything about
that?
Exactly. Okay. So with regards to this, there's no way this guy, he just puts on his latest little thing. Oh, yeah, they're willing to pay all this money and all the rest of it. Lansdowne would want huge amount of money for the club, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Given how much money he's put into the club. The one thing
Yeah.
you'd say about Bristol City is Bristol City's last year, the last set of turnover results, we were the largest turnover outside the parachute clubs in the division. But as you alluded to, Mark, our costs are so vast.
Yeah.
The
Can you
business-
explain to the viewers and listeners why our operating costs are so
We
high?
don't know
Why
because
we
it's
continue
all
to do it?
wrapped up, Mark, it's all wrapped up in the myriad of companies.
Yeah, this is the problem, isn't
Neil
it?
rightly says, Pooler Sports sits at the top, and that's
Yeah.
Steve and Maggie Lansdowne own that, and the rest of it, right? You know, I mean,
you don't see the link. You get the Bristol City accounts, Mark, and then you've got the Ashton Gate Limited. So
Yeah, there's a
all
whole-
of the concerts and the Bears and all the rest of it, that goes to Ashton Gate Limited. Then that goes into Bristol City Holdings.
Right.
And then you don't see what from Bristol City Holdings go into Pooler Sports. And Pooler Sports are based in Guernsey. So you're never going to know where the money trail is.
Because
at the
they're
club.
offshore.
Well, let me ask this question, because somebody said, I've not seen a figure, and this was on the forum. Tom, just ask yes or no answer, and the same to you, Mark. Do you know how much we made through staging the Rugby World Cup games?
I've got absolutely no idea, but I expect it would be decent money. To
Half a million for putting those games on?
I got no idea. I'm not the man to ask in that.
Mark, any ideas? Have you seen a number?
What do the International Rugby Union? What do we take as a percentage of takings? Because they would take a percentage of the takings.
But then the other question is, who does that money? If there was $500,000, because Steve Lansdowne says what the football club makes. This is because I don't think any of us here are as into the finances as certain other people we have on this podcast from time to time. But Lansdowne's always said what the football club makes, the football club can keep. Yeah, unless it's funding. Now, if it makes a £10 million profit before player sales, then it could spend all of that. But what's happening at the moment? The football club has got a cost base that's losing between, I'll say, 15 and 20. When we see the accounts for the year ending June 25 with no big player sale in there, it's going to be an 18 million loss, right? So Lansdowne is dipping his hand into his pocket and has been funding.
That means we're going to have to sell one of our assets.
Well, we're going to have to sell Jason Knight, you know, and he has more value in January than he does have in next summer because he's only got a year.
And Anis Mehmeti. I mean, his contract.
Mehmeti's going for free at the end of the season.
Mehmeti's going for free, and Viner's going to go for free.
Yeah,
and Sykes will go for free. Yeah. They'll all go for free.
They'll all go.
Yeah,
they're all going.
It's quite. So from that basis, it is a little bit depressing.
And what's the bad news?
Yeah. No, anyway, look, it's time. It's Sunday. You might be listening to this later on in the week or watching it later on in the week, but it's Sunday. I want to go and have my Tesco's finest biscotti cheesecake.
Oh, not biscotti cheesecake.
No, it's in.
Is it David? Is it Beam Me Up Biscotti? Is it?
Beam Me Up Biscotti. It is. You want to make a point, Mark, about Movember, just to wrap up very, very quickly.
Yeah, my dad's recovered from prostate cancer, so I think the ideal thing to do would be to raise money for November. And I think if you're all happy to do that, we should do it as a group, FBC. The last time that I did it, by sheer coincidence, was the championship season of 2014-15. Now, I'm not superstitious or anything, but of course we got facial hair Struber as our coach, and this will grow on you. So why don't we all do it? Let's raise.
I think that's good. I mean, if I can grow something, I can't grow it on my head at the moment, but there we go. Yeah, interesting. Talking about recruitment, a regular visitor to Ashton Gate, Rob Newman was sat up in the director's box today with his lanyard on. Rob Newman was there. What I found a bit strange the other day when it came out in conversation as well is that Struber, correct me if I'm wrong, if I misheard this, does Struber report into Tinian, who reports into Tom? I thought it was Tom. I thought Struber and Tinian reported into Tom separately. Do you,
Tom Rawcliffe? You mean
Tom?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. They don't report into me if you're asking, but yeah, I honestly don't know. I can imagine Struber reports into Tinian, to be honest, but what goes on above there is I know. Unsure.
Robin's Nest is going to join us on the Movember. That's good. He's growing in a mullet to match. Good show. Yeah. Benny's made the point about the rugby money. The stadium is its own business. That takes the cash. But that's where
It's
all...
Ashton Gate Limited.
Yeah, it's Ashton Gate.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
all the concessions...
Is it?
Yeah, we pay rent. And that's what
to play
Mercury
at Ashton
13
Gate.
Mercury 13 will be renting a few rooms at the HPC, and they'll be paying a fee.
Bristol
to pay
City,
that.
Bristol City Football Club don't own its own stadium. They don't own its own training ground.
No, that's the idea, isn't it?
A lot of things.
We've got a cat's cradle of companies, haven't we? And it's all very complicated.
It's all Anyway, everybody, Tom, thanks for coming on. We'll have you on again. I've got your number and your email and everything, so good to have you on. Mark, good luck over the next couple of weeks on your little time away, and we'll see you maybe for the QPR game, but we'll speak before then anyway. And everybody who's watched, not too many on a Sunday evening, which is not surprising really. There's more to watch on TV than our ugly mugshots. But we'll be doing our review of Preston away probably Sunday morning at 9. I think people like us doing it at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, so we get a chance to calm down. And hopefully we'll be reporting on a return to point-gaining ways. I take a point from deep down now. I was really looking forward, not to do one of my extrapolations, but had we won today, this would have been our best start to the season since, at this level, championship level, since 1971-72. The sixth game was a 4-0 win against Hull, around about the 20th of September, 1971. I was 15 at the time. And then we lost away to Birmingham, which I went to that game.
Trevor Francis was that Trevor Francis? He would have been about 18, wouldn't he then?
Possibly, yeah, it would have been Trevor Francis. And the top goal scorer for City in 71-72 was John Galley. Another person weighed in with 9 goals was Jerry Gow. And the third one with 9 goals was a bit of a surprise to me. If somebody next podcast we do can say who was the joint second top goal scorer for Bristol City in 71-72, and you get your answer on the text feed. We've got 2 T-shirts to give away for Art for Fans. Yeah, if you've seen the marvellous murals springing up all over the place. If somebody can say who was the other goal scorer with 9 goals in the 71-72 season. If you've got all the bloody history books, you'll look that up straight away, right? But if somebody puts it up on the text feed. I've also got one of those. I want to give it away. I'll donate it to Prostate Cancer UK because I had prostate cancer 11 years ago, so I know what that's all about. I've got one of those Bristol City mashup, that cartoony type drawing that was done about 5 or 6 years ago, right? I want to redecorate my study. It's about 1 meter by 80 centimeters, 100 centimeters by 80 centimeters in a frame, right? If anybody wants to put in a bid for that, I will give all of that money to Prostate Cancer UK because it will go out of my room and it will go into somebody else's room and they'll love it. All right. So I will bring that along to the next podcast and hold it up so you can see it. All right. That's the Bristol City mishmash, the cartoon type thing that somebody did a while ago. There we go. That's my commercial. Everybody who's watched, anybody who's listening, thanks a lot for your support, and see you all again soon. All the best. And it's not too bad. 11 points from 6 games. Goodbye, everybody.